I pose this to you, the football fans, Fox Sports Radio Nation. Which team is most impacted by these injuries?
Of all the 2024?
Is it clearly the 49ers or is it now the Bucks?
I have thoughts, but I do want to say Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, who do a great job. Anyone that was too squeamish to watch the replay.
Did you say squeamish?
Squeamish?
Just sounded funny.
I know it did. I didn't want you to notice it, but you did. Anyone that was too squeamish to watch the Godwin, ankle essentially dislocate, I don't recommend you watch Terrifier 3. If you don't have the stomach for that, don't be watching.
Terrifier 3 really that bad though, dude?
Dude, all the Terrifier movies, I started watching them because of the hype. That Art the Clown. If you got a stomach where you don't want to watch a bone crack in the NFL or a dislocation, don't watch that.
Rich is also the guy, just for conversation's sake, that came to me one day and he said, Squid Games, don't watch it. It gave me nightmares. So my daughter told me she was watching Squid Games, and I'm like, what, are you crazy watching that? It gave Rich Davis nightmares. And I yelled at her for watching that. And then I watched it. I'm like, this gave Rich nightmares?
Oh, shut up.
Squid Games? But I'm hearing Terrifier's the real deal. So, yeah, if your belly can't handle it or you're squeamish, then, yeah, maybe not check that out. So some brutal injuries this year, man. And that's why I also thought Dan Byer's update about Tua yesterday was the most absurd, idiotic update I've heard in a long time. I don't care how much Tua loves football. How does he not wear a Guardian cap? How does the NFL not say, hey, just to show that we're doing everything to protect our players, look how they're all going down. You're wearing a Guardian cap. I don't care if you like it or not. Just for the sole look of it, to show that we're doing everything to prevent injury and concussion and everything else. Dude, that is absurd to me that he's denying the extra protection when he's trying to recover still.
I mean, go easy on Dan Byer. It was just an update.
I'm not mad at Dan. I'm at it. Yeah, I'm not
back, Covino.
I'm not killing the messenger. I don't like the story. The Tua story to me makes opposite sense.
Now, Covino, the latest on McCaffrey, because as a Niners fan, I'm refreshing every day. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, what is going on, man?
They play the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football.
Are we ever going to find out what's going on with McCaffrey and Diddy? I'm equally intrigued. Are we ever going to find out?
McCaffrey, probably Diddy. You'll never find out.
We're never going to get any of these Diddy names.
You're waiting for names. They're going to be the same as Epstein. Like, they're just going to. No one's ever going to know.
I keep refreshing for both, Rich.
So McCaffrey, they play the Cowboys this Sunday night. The Niners try to escape that game 4-4, right? Then they have a bye week, and the goal is to have McCaffrey back on the field after the bye week. So you're looking at a couple weeks for McCaffrey. So to answer your question, and let's get the Fox Sports Radio Nation going, what team is impacted the most? Listen, as of right now, the Niners have looked mediocre like Matty Noakes because they're missing so many key elements. However,
Matty Noakes was pretty good when he was with Detroit.
However, moving forward in a competitive division, because the Falcons got better, the Bucs look pretty decent. The Saints and Panthers are trash, but one team's going to come out of that division. It's going to be Tampa or Atlanta. And without Godwin and without Evans, Baker Mayfield is everyone's loves the story, but he just lost weapon number 1 and 2.
Yeah. He looks like he's done, man. I feel so bad for him. How could he really compete? I mean, it's a great story if they can step up, but, man, I feel really bad for that one. And it's like a two-part doozy, Fox Sports Radio Nation. What's up, Rich?
For all we know, in a week or so, Devontae Adams may want out of New York. So,
I mean, if I were him, I'd want out of New York. So
just kidding.
It's a two-part doozy. Garbage time. Will we ever get to the point, based on all the injuries we're seeing, ever get to the point where they're pulling big stars, not only when you're blowing out a team, but when you're getting blown out?
You know what?
Will we get to that point for the sake of injury prevention and investment protection, right?
You know when, Cove? You know when? I think we've talked about this with Dan Byer and Danny G. When the NFL does this, because they will, when they move to an 18-game schedule, when that eventually happens, and you have 2 bye weeks, and they eventually do that whole plan that everyone loves where, the Super Bowl will be a 3-day weekend, and we'll have 2 bye weeks, 18 games. I feel like teams are going to be able to carry a few more players, and you're going to see load management, not like the NBA, but I wouldn't be shocked if teams carried an extra quarterback, an extra receiver, and I feel like the future is going to show some of this. Maybe not now, but in a couple years when we have an 18-game schedule, really no preseason, you're going to carry a few extra guys. The players will negotiate this, and you'll see it happen. It will happen.
And the second part of this question is, based on all these injuries, which teams are the most impacted? Probably Rich's 49. Actually, you know what? I take it back because you're getting McCaffrey back most likely, Kittle. You're not getting back Godwin. Evans, who knows? And like you said, those are weapons number 1 and 2 for Baker Mayfield. But you could also make an argument, even though Deshaun Watson was playing bad, the fact that he's out, the Achilles is confirmed as of today. You could say the moves they made and the money they paid, that's the most impactful injury of all.
And what they're left with. They have one win. That team stinks. So if anything, it might give them a reason to move on from Deshaun Watson, and also will put them in a position to get a high draft pick if they keep stinking. So it's not like It's not like their season was going anywhere anyway. Now the 49ers, while they did lose Brandon Ayuk, keep in mind Debo's going to come back. Kittle's a little banged up, but he'll be fine.
Right.
You got McCaffrey coming back. Juwan Jennings, a little banged up, but he's coming back. And Ricky Pearsall, fresh off of getting shot, this guy's a beast. He's going to be a young impact player. So I think they could cover for Ayuk, where some of the other teams, their injuries have no answers.
If there's another team or someone else you're thinking about that is hugely impactful to you, feel free to chime in at 877-99 on Fox. Otherwise, I think the unfortunate winner of this conversation, if there's such a thing, is the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Sad situations from last night, and they have such a powerful offense, man. It sucks.
And just to chime in, because you mentioned Mike Evans, Todd Bowles said within the last hour that he will not return before they have their bye in Week 11. So Week 12 at the earliest would be when we see Mike Evans again for the Buccaneers.
Yeah, that sucks. Look, I kind of figured that. We're talking about a veteran player here. He knows his body. He was rolling around. That didn't look right. Yeah. You're like, oh, man, that's bad. And then it got worse.
Hey, Cove, I thought of another layer of what you were saying. Will we see a time where the NFL is in favor of resting players during a blowout, or less usage of stars if it's lopsided in a game? Not only we talk about load management and how people are frustrated with that in the NBA. In our lifetime, we watch starting pitchers go 8 or 9, and now you're getting 5 out of an ace.
Yeah, and people still complain, but that's just the way now. Yeah, changed
of
a lot.
Of the Yankee roster, of the Dodgers roster, of the teams that are in the playoffs, that are in the World Series now. How many of those guys played more than 150 games?
No, it's a great point. Yeah, couple of them.
I mean, other sports we see it. So why would you be shocked? You know what it was? The NFL schedule, 16 games, then it's 17. You get to 18 and you start getting more involved, and there's so much money on the line. You're going to see rosters expand and more rest in the next couple of years, guaranteed.